Good morning. I'm Professor Chris Delia, the Dean of the College of the Coast and Environment at LSU. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our college's 53rd diploma ceremony. Before we get started, I want to introduce a few of the individuals here today. Professor Robert Rowley, a member of the LSU Graduate Council, will serve as Master of Ceremonies. Professor Kevin Armbrust, Chair of the Department of Environmental Sciences, will present the diplomas to the graduates of his department and make some brief remarks. Professor Kanbu Liu, Chair of the Department of Oceanography and Coastal Sciences, will present diplomas to the graduates of his department and make some brief remarks. Professor Vince Wilson, Director of the Coastal Environmental Science Program, will present diplomas to graduates in his program and will also make some brief remarks. I would also like to recognize Associate Dean Sybil Bargu Atesh, who's there, professor in the Department of Oceanography and Coastal Sciences. I want to ask our faculty members who are here to stand up also so that we can recognize them. As I'm pretty sure all of our graduates will tell you, we have a fantastic faculty and they're great teachers. So I'm going to do something a little different this year. I'm going to begin my remarks by reciting a brief poem. On this day of commencement, we gather by the coast to celebrate achievement and the future we will host. The sea has been our classroom, the marshes our laboratory. We've learned to love and cherish this precious ecology. Now we take our next steps with degrees in hand to protect and preserve this wonderful, fragile land. So let us raise our voices in cheers of Tiger pride for the LSU College of the Coast and the bright future it provides. Well, this verse is definitely not Shakespeare, but is still quite a remarkable poem. Why? Because it was generated in a flash by artificial intelligence, or AI, using a program, ChatGPT. You laugh. ChatGPT has been in the news a lot lately. I simply made the following request of ChatGPT. Write a short poem about commencement day for the LSU College of the Coast and Environment, and about 2 seconds later, voila, I got that. I submit to you that this spring semester commencement is going to be similar in a lot of places all over the nation and perhaps the world. We're making a very sharp transition and transformation of higher education at this very moment. Many speakers at commencement, I'm sure, will note this milestone. Today's graduates are members of the last graduating class whose education largely occurred without the influence and use of artificial intelligence. For better or for worse, every succeeding graduating class henceforth will be increasingly affected by this technology. Every technological advance comes with advantages and disadvantages. I concur with many that AI will offer as large a contrast as good and bad as any new technology to date. Extremely bright and thoughtful individuals now ask, with justifiable concern, will this AI technology become our servant or our master? Let me give some examples of how AI is already affecting coastal and environmental research and education. We coastal scientists deal with lots of data in real time, more than we could possibly assimilate ourselves. As a research or operational tool, AI offers us the ability to screen very quickly this massive deluge of data. Take the example of a major hurricane approaching the coast. Forecasters want to make use of a vast array of data to help predict wind speed, landfall, and storm surge. AI can now help them identify patterns and trends that might otherwise be overlooked by personnel who are overwhelmed by the event at hand. AI can also help find evacuation routes, food, fuel, and places for evacuees to stay. So that's clearly good. Students are now beginning to use AI to generate term papers and reports. It's nearly impossible for professors to discern original student work from that generated by AI like ChatGPT. This raises obvious ethical and practical concerns. This last semester, I assigned students in my energy and environment class a 3-page essay assignment. I asked them to take a hot news topic about energy and environment and have ChatGPT generate their paper's first draft. Then I had them edit the draft to ensure more accuracy, add details, and provide references and context. I asked them to show their changes to the original ChatGPT draft, and I was amazed that this exercise was an effective one. It was really good. It engaged the students, several of whom are sitting right over there now, and in the end, I think we learned a lot in the process. As I said, the emergence of AI marks a transition in higher education. It will never again be the same. Speaking of transitions, today's commencement is a transition for me as well. After 14 years of serving as dean, I'm stepping down to return full-time to the faculty. This will likely be my last time as a member of the Platform Party, something that I've done over 50 times in my more than 4 decades in academia. This moment is bittersweet for me, but I can't emphasize enough how happy I am to be here today with this marvelous class. So enough from me. Now let's get on with the reason we're all here today, the awarding of diplomas. We have especially remarkable graduates today. We have 18 undergraduates finishing up. 5 of them are summa cum laude, the highest academic distinction possible. 1 is a Tiger 12 award winner. 4 are distinguished communicators, and 4 have received distinguished research recognition as well. 5 are honor students and more. And as usual, our master's and PhD students are also very impressive. You will hear more about them later. So I congratulate each of you. You have worked hard for this moment. Savor it. Now I ask Professor Rowley to come forward to present our candidates for degrees.
Would the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy please stand? Dean Delia, in recognition of the completion of all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, I am pleased to present these candidates to you. Candidates, please be seated. Would the candidates for the degree of Master of Science please stand? Dean Delia, in recognition of the completion of all the requirements for the degree of Master of Science, I am pleased to present these candidates to you. Candidates, please be seated. Would the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science please stand? Dean Delia, in recognition of the completion of all requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Science, I am pleased to present these candidates to you. Candidates, please be seated.
To all graduates, you have been certified as having completed all requirements for your degree. The Louisiana State University Board of Supervisors has authorized the conferral of the appropriate degree with all rights and privileges and responsibilities appertaining. At this time, tradition dictates that undergraduates move their tassel from the right side of their mortarboard to the left side to emphasize their status as a graduate of LSU. Congratulations.
Yes. 9 of our graduates in the College of the Coast and Environment are unable to be with us here today. Nevertheless, we would like to recognize them. Elise Ellison, receiving a Bachelor of Science in Coastal Environmental Science. Matthew Parker, receiving a Bachelor of Science in Coastal Environmental Science, graduating summa cum laude. Clifford A. Johnson, receiving a Bachelor of Science in Coastal Environmental Science. Wei Yuan Dong, receiving a Master of Science in Oceanography and Coastal Sciences. Major Professor, Dr. Junhong Liang. Thesis title, A Lagrangian Particle Model with Nested Capability and its application to the modeling of plastics in the Gulf of Mexico. Jacob Hal Williams, receiving a Master of Science in the Department of Environmental Sciences and a certificate in Environmental Health Sciences. Major Professor, Dr. Rebecca de Jesus Crespo. Title of paper, What are the unintended consequences of the construction of the Wax Lake outlet? Taylor Michelle Alexander, receiving a Master of Science in the Department of Environmental Sciences and a graduate certificate in Environmental Modeling and Analysis. Major Professor, Dr. Rebecca de Jesus Crespo. Title of paper, Does Louisiana have a history of environmental injustice? Shelley Frances Cole, receiving a Master of Science in the Department of Environmental Sciences and a graduate certificate in Environmental and Energy Policy. Major Professor, Dr. Rebecca de Jesus Crespo. Title of paper, Has the greater Yellowstone ecosystem benefited from the reintroduction of wolves? Cole Donaldson, receiving a Master of Science in the Department of Environmental Sciences. Major Professor, Dr. Brian Snyder. Title of paper, A Ubiquitous Contaminant, Microplastics. And Yvonne Alexis Vargas Lopez, receiving a PhD in Oceanography and Coastal Sciences. Major Professor, Dr. Victor Rivera Monroy. Dissertation title, A Spatiotemporal Evaluation of Estuarine Coastal Carbon and Nutrient Interactions and Lateral Fluxes in Deltaic Regions Undergoing Growth and Deterioration Phases in Coastal Louisiana, USA. Please join me in congratulating all of these graduates. We will continue with the presentation of diplomas to the graduates receiving Bachelor of Science degrees in Coastal Environmental Sciences. I would like to ask Dean Delia and Coastal Environmental Sciences Director, Dr. Vincent Wilson, to come forward. Dr. Wilson will present you with your diploma, and Dean Delia will present you with a gift from the College of the Coast and Environment. As I called your name, please come forward. Michaela A. Bell. Please join me in congratulating Michaela Bell. Caleb Cavness. Please join me in congratulating Caleb Cavness. Akiva Percy Coleman, graduating summa cum laude. Please join me in congratulating Akiva Coleman. Reagan Como. Please join me in congratulating Reagan Como. Madeline Paige Fryer, graduating summa cum laude with the University Medal for High Achievement and also receiving a degree from the Ogden Honors College. Thesis title, Using Drones to Evaluate Anthropogenic Debris Accumulation in an Urban Baton Rouge Watershed. Thesis director, Dr. Mark Benfield. Please join me in congratulating Madeline Fryer. Elizabeth Y. Glenick. Please join me in congratulating Elizabeth Glenick. Camila Z. Hollis. Please join me in congratulating Camila Hollis. Olivia Hurley. Please join me in congratulating Olivia Hurley. Zachary Googe Laird. Please join me in congratulating Zachary Laird. Sophia Lingo. Please join me in congratulating Sophia Lingo. Emily Major. Please join me in congratulating Emily Major. Ayan Ananan, graduating summa cum laude and with a degree from the Ogden Honors College. Thesis title? Thesis title, Decomposition Rates of Spartina alterniflora, smooth cordgrass, in coastal Louisiana brackish marshes influenced by a freshwater siphon. Thesis director, Dr. Michael Polito. Please join me in congratulating Aina Anainen. Hannah Orth. Graduating summa cum laude. Please join me in congratulating Hannah Orth. Isabella Purpura. Please join me in congratulating Isabella Purpura. Kayla Tysinger. Dr. Wilson would like to say a few words regarding the graduates.
The group, as usual, is picking on me because I used to talk about every one of the graduates. They won't let me do that anymore. The numbers are increasing. First off, this is, well, it's kind of a fantastic group, but this is our 15th year in the program, in the CES program. This program started in the fall of 2008 with a whole 5 majors. I go by each fall semester when starting, and we had 213 last semester. It's the fastest growing program on campus. And actually, in spite of the fact that we actually let them graduate after 4 years, well, of course, that's after 4 years of academic torture, which this group has survived. It's not an easy degree. This is a rigorous degree. It's a very solid math science base, which then gives you all sorts of opportunities. But the success of our alumni has been absolutely outstanding, and I actually expect nothing less of the group coming out here. I do want to just note a couple of facts, and Dean didn't steal all my thunder in this, but we had, as he mentioned, we have 5 of our present graduating seniors that had 4.0, above 4.0 GPAs. That included Ayan Ananan, Madeline Fryer, Matt Parker, Eva Coleman, and Hannah Orff. I also have to mention that 2 of those are the top GPAs that we've had come out of our graduating groups so far. And it includes Ian with a 4.200 LSU GPA. Madeline Fryer was pushing her numbers there. The 2 of them were challenged. Madeline ended up with a 4.168. I mean, really. You heard all the medals rattling. They deserve them. 4 of our individuals, which included Madeline and Ian, were distinguished communicators and distinguished researchers. I love listening to those medals rattle as they come up. I'll tease them about it. We have, right now, with these 18 total new CES alumni, we now have 271 alumni. And I mentioned about the success of these, and I'm also with the, I mentioned these high GPAs and the like, especially with such a rigorous program in the math sciences. Nevertheless, I'll also say that any graduate from this program, any bachelor degree, regardless of GPA, the success in our alumni has already demonstrated that they're off on the road on fabulous careers, very successful careers. So, an excellent start. In closing, see, I'm not that long. In closing, I do want to mention that the alumni have one more major responsibility. You have to stay in touch. You have to let us know where you're at. Keep in mind, you are still part of the family. This doesn't go away. If anything we can do to help, make sure you stay in contact, let us know the next step in your career. Again, with our newest set of 18 alumni, let's give them another hand. Master of Ceremony.
We now continue with the presentation of the diplomas to the graduates receiving a Master of Science in the Department of Oceanography and Coastal Sciences. I would like to ask Dr. Cambue Liu to come up. He will present you with your diplomas, and Dean Delia will present you with a special gift from the College of the Coast and Environment. As I call your name, please come forward. Courtney Nicole Hammond. Major Professor, Dr. Sibel Bargu Atush. Thesis title, Controls of Physical Drivers on the Formation and Toxicity of Harmful Cyanobacteria Blooms. Please join me in congratulating Courtney Hammond. Michael W. McDonnell. Major Professor, Dr. Giulio Mariotti. Thesis title, Quantifying Mud Settling Velocity as a Function of Turbulence and Salinity in a Deltaic Estuary. Please join me in congratulating Michael McDonnell. Bijay Lakshmi Sahu. Major Professor, Dr. Yuriko Desa. Thesis title, 20-year assessment of total suspended sediment variability and Barataria Bay from Modus Ocean Color using a combination of adaptive, semi-analytical, and neural network algorithms. Please join me in congratulating Vijay Lakshmi Sahu. We will continue with the presentation of the diplomas for the graduates receiving a Master of Science in the Department of Environmental Sciences. I would like to ask Dr. Kevin Armbrust to come up. He will present you with your diplomas, and Dean Delia will present you with a special gift from the College of the Coast and Environment. As I call your name, please come forward. Ashley Donton. Ashley is also receiving a graduate certificate in Environmental and Energy Policy. Her major professor is Dr. Rebecca de Jesus Crespo, and the title of her paper is The Effectiveness of Systematic Conservation Methods that Aim to Mitigate Human Encroachment Impacts on Mountain Gorilla Biodiversity. Please join me in congratulating Ashley Donton. Evelyn McQueen. Major Professor, Dr. Rebecca de Jesus Crespo. Title of paper, Microplastics in the Northern Gulf of Mexico. Please join me in congratulating Evelyn McQueen. Jacob Salem. Jacob is also receiving a graduate certificate in Environmental and Energy Policy. The major professor, Dr. Rebecca de Jesus Crespo. Title of paper, How Does Rapid Population Growth Impact the Safety of the Water Supply? Please join me in congratulating Jacob Salem. Musiba Samola. Musiba is also receiving a graduate certificate in Environmental Modeling and Analysis. Major Professor, Dr. Rebecca de Jesus Crespo. Title of paper, Toxic and Environmental Effects of Benzene and Its Compounds, a Systematic Literature Review. Please join me in congratulating Musiba Samola. We will now bestow the Doctor of Philosophy degrees. In a doctoral student's studies, the role of mentors is particularly strong. The student's major professor, assisted by other members of the faculty, closely guides the student's research and writing. The doctoral hood is a symbol of the student's accomplishment and full membership in the Fellowship of Academia. The doctoral students who cross the stage today are accompanied by his or her mentor, usually his or her major professor. This person will assist in the hooding of his or her student with the doctoral hood. For the PhD graduates in the Department of Oceanography and Coastal Sciences, Dr. Liu will present you with your diploma, and Dean Delia will present you with a gift from the College of the Coast and Environment. As I call your name, please come forward to be hooded. Kelly Moran. Major Professor, Dr. Kevin Hsu. Dissertation title, Sediment Transport and Geomorphological Evolution in the Northern Gulf of Mexico. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Kelly Moran. Dr. Cambu Liu would like to say a few words regarding the graduates from the Department of Oceanography and Coastal Sciences.
Good afternoon. There are a few perks that come with being a department chair, but I consider being able to make a few introductory remarks about each graduate at the commencement as a privilege, and indeed as a joy of being a department chair. I have been doing this for the past 10.5 years, but this will be the last commencement I attend as a department chair, as I will pass the torch to my successor, Dr. Kenshin Mighty, at the end of June. But I'm very happy to see that 6 students, 2 PhDs and 4 masters, are getting their degrees from the Department of Oceanography and Coastal Sciences today. I will say a few words about each of these graduates as we welcome them to the family of DOCS alumni. And I will start with the PhD graduates. Kelly Moran, she earned a Bachelor of Science degree in geology from Kutztown University in 2010 and a master's degree in geology from East Carolina University in 2012, where she studied the evolution of a barrier island system along the North Carolina coast. Here at LSU for a PhD degree under the supervision of Professor Kevin Hsu, she used geophysical instruments to study how sediments are transported and deposited along the Gulf of Mexico coast over a variety of geological time scales. And she was recently selected to attend the National Science Foundation, NSF, funded International Research Experience Workshop in the Netherlands, where participants learned the latest in coastal and deltaic computer modeling. Is called a DELF 3D model. It's kind of a cutting-edge computer modeling for coastal systems. And she has also received several external awards and scholarship for her work during the last several years. Our next PhD graduate is Ivan Alexis Vargas Lopez. Ivan is not here with us today, but he was born in Panama, but attended San Moreno University in Honduras, where he earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Socioeconomic Development and Environmental Sciences in 2011. He came to LSU in 2015 to pursue a Master of Science degree in Fisheries and Aquaculture in the School of Renewable Natural Resources, where he conducted research on a crawfish ecology assessment to understand how harvesting practices and hydraulic seasonality influence the fishermen's decision process in the Atchafalaya Basin. He then started his PhD program in our department under the direction of Professor Victor Rivera Monroy in 2018. And his dissertation research was focused on evaluating the carbon and nutrient interactions and fluxes in the Mississippi Delta, mostly is in the Barataria Bay, and also in the new forming Westlake Delta in coastal Louisiana. Now I will introduce the Master of Science graduates. Wei Yuan Dong, he was not able to be with us today. He was born in the Jiangsu province in eastern China. He received his bachelor's degree in atmospheric science from the Nanjing University of Information Science and Technology in 2018. He then came to LSU to start his master's degree in oceanography under the direction of Professor Junhong Liang. For his thesis research, he used computer models to study the transport and dispersal of marine debris over the Gulf of Mexico. And in fact, this marine debris are mostly pieces of plastic of various sizes, which can float in the water for a long time, and this has become a growing problem of ocean environmental pollution, not only in Louisiana, but also globally as well. Courtney Nicole Hammond. Nicole Hammond grew up in Maryland, where she earned her Bachelor of Science degree in Biological Sciences from Salisbury University in 2020. During her undergraduate studies, she was heavily involved in research and won several awards and fellowships, such as the prestigious Udall Undergraduate Scholarship. She then came to LSU to work with Professor Sibel Bagu for her master's degree doing research on the physical drivers of harmful cyanobacteria blooms in the Lake Pontchartrain estuary. While in graduate school, Nicole was heavily involved with the education and outreach through the Coast and Environment Graduate Organization, SEGO, and also the Environmental Mentors Program, and also served as the student representative for the college Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. And she accepted a prestigious Canals Fellowship at the beginning of this year and is currently working with NOAA's NESTIS program. NESTIS is short for National Environmental Satellite Data and Information Service in Washington, D.C. We're glad that she came back to Louisiana and LSU for today's ceremony. Michael McDonald. Michael McDonald is from New Orleans, a Louisiana native. He received a Bachelor's of Science degree in our Coastal Environmental Science program with a minor in Geographic Information System, or GIS, in 2020. He went on to pursue a Master of Science degree in Oceanography in our department under the supervision of Dr. Giulio Mariotti. His research centered on the mud dynamics in Barataria Bay, looking at the settling velocity of mud as a function of turbulence and salinity in a deltaic estuary. After graduation, he will stay at LSU for a short time, working with Dr. Mariotti and Dr. Tracy Quirk on a project related to mangroves and erosion in Louisiana. And last but not least, BJ Sahu. BJ is from India, where she obtained her Bachelor of Science degree in Mathematics and her Master of Science degree in Atmospheric Sciences. She came to LSU in January of 2021 to pursue a master's degree in Oceanography and Coastal Sciences under the supervision of Professor Yuriko Desar. Her thesis research is a 20-year assessment of the total sediment variability in Barataria Bay by means of remote sensing techniques and neural network algorithms. By her own admission, she is a, quote, meteorologist by profession and a cloud photographer by passion. Now, with a master's degree in oceanography, she can extend both her profession and her passion from the air to the sea and to the coastal zone as well. And she will be enrolled in a PhD program in geography at LSU starting this fall. So congratulations to all our graduates and to their families, and go Tigers.
For the PhD graduates in the Department of Environmental Sciences, Dr. Armbrust will present you with your diploma, and Dean Delia will present you with a gift from the College of the Coast and Environment. As I call your name, please come forward to be hooded. John Shelton Penton, Jr. Major Professors, Dr. Vince Wilson and Dr. Robert Twilley. Dissertation title, Accurately Valuing Blue Carbon Sequestration and Storage to Foster Coastal Conservation via Evidence-Based Policymaking and Model Environmental Services Statute Methodologies. Please join me in congratulating Dr. John Shelton Penton, Jr. George Washburn, Major Professor, Dr. Linda Hooper Bowie. Dissertation title, Bald Cypress, Taxodium, Distichum, and their growth and development under abiotic stressors related to restoration efforts. Please join me in congratulating Dr. George Washburn. Thank you. Yusik Wan, Major Professor, Dr. Young Ha Kim. Dissertation title, Removal of Radionuclides Using Capacitive Deionization. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Yusik Wan. Dr. Kevin Armbrust would like to say a few words regarding the graduates from the Department of Environmental Sciences.
Thank you, Dr. Rowley. Dr. Wilson is giving me a bad time about making sure that I'm brief also. We're right at the very end, very close to being at the end. One point I would like to make one comment about the master's degree students first. The 4 individuals that we had up here today have actually completed our online MS degree. This is the exact same master's degree that we offer to traditional students, but in many ways, the one thing I want to make sure I'm pointing out is, and that everybody needs to understand, is that online does not equal easier, as I think any of the candidates can attest. You're taking a series of courses, the exact same courses that we offer to our traditional students that are in a 15-week format, but they're having to do these in 7 weeks during regular semesters and over 5 weeks in the summer. So the exact same material compressed in about half the time or less. So it's a very, very rigorous program. But to talk a few comments about each of the particular candidates, Ashley Dontaine. Ashley was born in Franklin, Louisiana, and obtained her bachelor's degree in chemical engineering in LSU in 2016. Since 2016, Ashley has held supervisory positions and has worked in the engineering field. In 2019, Ashley began working for the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality as an engineer, where she grew a passion for environmental work. During her career at LADEQ, Ashley decided to pursue an MS degree in environmental science to better develop environmental solutions within her profession. In addition to obtaining a master's degree in environmental science, Ashley is now currently focused on obtaining her environmental professional engineering certification and desires to use all her knowledge to make a difference within the state of Louisiana. Evelyn McQueen. Evelyn was a military child that moved around a lot. She laid down roots in coastal Mississippi in her early teens. Here she met her husband, where she shares 2 children with. She earned her bachelor's degree in chemistry from Western Governors University and has worked as a teacher at her former high school for the last 5 years. She began the MS degree in environmental science program in 2021. As a lifelong Tiger fan who frequented Death Valley many a Saturday in her youth, she always wanted to earn her degree as a Tiger. She looks forward to putting her degree to use while healing the planet. Jacob Salam. Jacob grew up in the small town of Schulenburg, Texas, located between San Antonio and Houston. For his undergraduate studies, he attended Texas A&M University, where he received his Bachelor's of Science degree in geology. After accepting a position with an environmental consulting firm in Louisiana, he decided to pursue a postgraduate degree. He chose the online program at LSU for multiple reasons. The primary considerations that weighed in his decision to choose LSU were the top national ranking of the LSU Master's Program, thank you for the plug, the flexibility of the program that allowed him to continue working full-time while engaged in his studies, and the lifelong learning goal of being an LSU Tiger. In the future, he would like to use the knowledge he has obtained here at LSU to further and advance his career. The last of our master's students, Mustaba Sunmolo. Mustaba was born and raised in Ogun State, Nigeria, where he attended Ogun State University, Nigeria, completing a Bachelor's of Science in Industrial Chemistry. In 2003, he moved to the United States to attend Texas Southern University, where he started a graduate master's program in chemistry, but was unable to finish at the time. He always dreamed of completing his graduate studies and was able to do so by attending the LSU online master's program, where he has completed a graduate certificate in environmental modeling analysis and ultimately his master's in environmental science. Please join me in congratulating our master's degree students. We have 3 doctorate students who have graduated this year. As Dr. Rowley mentioned earlier, obtaining the doctorate degree is the highest level of achievement within academia. All of these candidates have done that. Obtaining the hood and obtaining the degree marks the end of the student-mentor relationship between the student and the faculty member, to the point where now so that we are now colleagues. And so with each one of them, I want to congratulate all of you as now being my colleague. First, Dr. John Penton. John, a native of Mobile, Alabama, sorry about that, earned his BA at Wake Forest University and his JD at the University of Memphis Cecil C. Humphrey School of Law. John later completed a Master's of Arts in Marine Affairs and Policy at the University of Miami Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Science and a Master's of Law in Ocean and Coastal Law at the University of Miami School of Law. John practiced law in Florida for more than 20 years before enrolling in the Environmental Sciences doctorate program at LSU. He was employed at Louisiana Sea Grant under Dr. Jim Wilkins and Dr. Robert Twilley. John has completed his PhD in environmental sciences with a minor in oceanography and coastal sciences under the supervision of Dr. Vince Wilson, Dr. Robert Twilley, Jim Wilkins, and myself. John's dissertation applied the conspicuous environmental signatures of 6 coastal morphologies where mangroves exist around the world to more accurately estimate these forests' atmospheric carbon storage and sequestration in their biomass and surrounding soils. In his free time, John enjoys watching international rugby and college football and traveling internationally. Dr. George Washburn. Dr. Washburn was born and raised in Greenville, South Carolina. He started his undergraduate degree at Auburn University and completed it in zoology at North Carolina State University in 2013. He moved to New Orleans that same year, where he worked at the Audubon Insectarium for a year until he decided to continue his academic career. He attended Tulane University and obtained his master's in ecology and evolutionary biology in 2015. While working under Dr. Sunshine Van Beal at Tulane, he focused on bald cypress midge galls, and their fungal communities. This work led him to become further interested in bald cypress forests, and he wanted to continue his academic career. He started at LSU in 2016 under Dr. Linda Hooper Bowie in the Department of Environmental Sciences. When he began, he tried to focus an entomological approach to bald cypress. He focused on the tree itself and how its seedlings and saplings respond to stressors related to restoration work. Also, while at LSU, under Dr. Diane Lenstadt at Louisiana Sea Grant as a graduate assistant in the education department, George started working as a wetland ecologist at the Pontchartrain Conservancy, heading their swamp restoration project at the beginning of this year. Finally, Dr. Yusuk Wong. Dr. Wong was born and has lived in Seoul, South Korea. He completed his Bachelor's of Science degree in Environmental Engineering at Seoul National University of Science and Technology in 2016. He received his MS degree in Civil and Environmental Engineering at Seoul's National University in 2018. After graduation, he decided to pursue a doctorate degree and joined the Environmental Sciences Department at LSU in 2019 as a PhD student. His dissertation focuses on the removal of radionuclides using captive deionization. He plans to apply this knowledge and experience in industrial areas. Please join me in congratulating all the graduates. And finally, on one personal note, I do want to thank Dr. Dean Delia for being a fantastic dean. He's built this college and has done marvelous things with it and has set a great path going into the future. So congratulations in your retirement.
It's hard to speak now. This concludes today's ceremony. Graduates, you are now LSU alumni, and I hope that you keep a lifelong connection with this great university. On behalf of the entire faculty and staff of our college, let me reiterate how proud we are of you and your achievements. We wish you every success in the future. Thank you. We'll be glad to have pictures with you after the ceremony. So.